Arsenal are on fire, winning back-to-back Champions League games after smashing 2 goals past Olympiacos. Mikel Arteta's squad depth is proving good, but from the return of captain Martin Odegaard to Arsenal's new Champions League star, the evolution of Victor Gyökeres, and Arsenal's scary Champions League stats. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 2, Olympiacos 0. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Baz14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and after another Champions League victory, I know you guys are doing sensational. So as per, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boy on his road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with the first thing, and that is Arsenal's Champions League star. In a game that Arsenal were completely dominant, with an XG of 3.15 to Olympiacos' 0.52, the stats show that Arsenal were firmly on top. 61% possession, 4 big chances and 16 total shots. But it was also a game where the Arsenal forwards were definitely wasteful. The likes of Leandro Trossard and Victor Gyökeres missing massive chances. But in a game though, Mikel Arteta went for a surprising front three of Gabriel Martinelli on the right hand side, Trossard on the left and Gyökeres down the middle. It was Arsenal's Brazilian that opened the scoreline, dropping a 6.8 SOFA score rating, with 1 goal from an XG of 1.09, 1 shot on target, 2 off target, 1 massive chance missed, as well as 1 chance created. Now when you look at Martinelli's heat map playing on the right hand side, he is very different to Bukayo Saka. Right footed, naturally able to hold the width, but also quite a lot of his touches coming inside that box. When you've got a striker like Victor Gyökeres so comfortable drifting towards the left hand side, the reason why Mikel Arteta can now play Martinelli on that right is because the space opens up for a player to attack that box. Even though he missed a massive chance at the start of the game, from the movement to the positioning, Martinelli still presents a massive goal threat, saying after the game, the first chance from Miles, we were talking about this before the game, that I could attack that space in the box and I could have done better. The goal I waited if Gyökeres would score. If it hits the post and I score, happy with the goal and the victory. But for an Arsenal player that seems to have finally found some form, having now got 3 goals in his last 4 games, no Arsenal players registered more goal contributions than Gabriel Martinelli this season with 4. It's not the Martinelli of 2022-23, that fearless wide forward taking on his fullback. But in the Champions League he does come alive, having now scored in back-to-back UCL games. From last year at the Bernabeu to the year before that at Sevilla, Martinelli is a player that seems to thrive when it comes to European competitions. And in terms of winning it, as he says, we play for Arsenal. We want to win every game and win every trophy. We want to win every game and every trophy that we can. But in the game that Arsenal missed chance after chance, refusing to kill the game off, once again Mikel Arteta turned to his very trusted bench as Bukayo Saka came on to secure the win. And as pointed out here, Arsenal have now had a sub score in 5 consecutive matches for the first time since August 2004. And that should not be a surprise. The ability to bring on Eberechi Eze, Bukayo Saka in games that Arsenal already have a strong lineup. We talked about finishers and players coming off the bench to be game changers. Mikel Arteta now has those in abundance, as Bukayo Saka dropped an 8.1 rating, with 1 goal scored, 1 shot on target, 9 out of 9 passes, as well as 1 massive chance created. What I like so much about the goal itself is the fact that Bukayo was given freedom, as Mikel Arteta tries to make Arsenal more and more unpredictable. From Bukayo Saka to Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal players are now allowed to drift, see where the game takes them and where they can hurt teams most. We know that Bukayo is elite on the right hand side, but whether it's the brand new coach of Gabriel Heinze, or maybe Mikel Arteta releasing the handbrake, this was very much Arsene Wenger-esque, putting your trust in the players to drift wherever they want. Alongside Martinelli, Saka is also another player that seems to love the Champions League, having now scored 11 Champions League goals in 19 games, as well as 6 assists. He is now level with Robert Pires for Arsenal Champions League goals, and it took Pires 63 games to get that, 24 more, and he matches Thierry Henry. Moving on to the second thing, and that is score if you can. On Arsenal's 9th game of the season, that is now 7 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, and even more impressively, only 3 goals conceded. Having only conceded 1 goal from open play across all competitions this season, we knew going into this year the Arsenal defence was going to be stacked, but now we're seeing it actually play out. In a game where the Arsenal goalkeeper was on top form, as David Raya dropped a 7.8 SOFA score rating, 3 massive saves and a 0.61 goals prevented, as well as 28 accurate passes and 7 accurate long balls. That save in the 90th minute was simply spectacular. Insane reaction time to get to the top left hand side. Raya is another Arsenal player that I don't believe gets his flowers enough. Not only consistent but also very reliable, even in games where he's not involved. He has that top goalkeeper mindset to still stay concentrated and turn up when it matters the most. But in a game where you also had Miles Skelly starting as the left back, dropping a 7.8 SOFA score rating, his heat map shows left hand side dominance. 5 clearances, 3 tackles and 9 of 12 ground balls won, as well as 41 accurate passes and 1 massive chance created. Not a single Arsenal player won more duels, won more fouls, or even made more tackles than Miles Skelly. Not only a reminder to Arsenal fans, but also a reminder to Mikel Arteta. At 18 years of age, he burst onto the scene, becoming a starter for Arsenal in 2024-25. But with the arrival of Piero Hincapié and Ricardo Calafiori staying fit, despite not starting a single league game so far this season, in this game we saw a lot of promising signs going forwards playing as a left back. Having worked alongside Gabriel Heinze behind the scenes, you think about that massive Gabriel Martinelli chance. That was Miles Muschietti at his best, receiving the ball deep, driving forwards, and picking out a fantastic cross that should have been an assist. As Mikel Arteta says, Miles at every level, defensively and attacking, he looked really focused. He understood really well when to take the chances, when to keep the game flowing, and very simple. I think he played a really good game. But then you also had a start for Ben White on the right hand side, dropping a 7.3 sofa score rating, but playing only 58 minutes. With 1 clearance, 1 block shot and 2 tackles, there was a lot of focus after the game. Having seen the consistent levels of Yuri and Timber dominate the right hand side, Ben White wasn't at his absolute best. But at the same time, I also don't want to overanalyze. For a player who's clearly getting back into fitness, Ben White is the prime example of a player that needs time to get back into rhythm. The more he plays, the better you will see him. Yes, in the second half at times he was getting rinsed, but to really see the best of the player, as Arsenal fans, we will need to stay patient. You also had Gabriel Magalhaes drop a 7.0 sofa score rating, with 5 clearances and 2 block shots, but the main focus being that he was taken off before the end of the game, replaced by Christian Mosquera, looking clearly uncomfortable. But as confirmed by Mikel Arteta after the game, I think he's going to be okay. He felt something, I think it was a kick in the first half. He could carry on, but we decided not to take any risks, because he's played a lot of games. He's coming from a long-term injury, and we need to look after him. Moving on to the third thing, and that is the captain is back. In a game where Mikel Arteta started midfield three of Martin Zubimendi, Mikel Merino and Martin Odegaard, you may have had Declan Rice trolling on the Arsenal bench, seen here rage-baiting Max Stallman. But as Ali McCoy said, I'm really enjoying watching Arsenal at the minute, and a lot of that comes down to the player of the match, and that is the Arsenal captino, Martin Odegaard, the standout player, in a game that he dropped an 8.5 rating, with 1 assist, 86 touches, 54 accurate passes, as well as 4 chances created and 7 accurate long balls, 1 successful dribble and 2 big chances missed. Yes, he could have scored a few goals, but when you look at his heat map, you'll notice a very key change in how Mikel Arteta is using him. Focus on the build-up phase, but also in that final third. Mikel Arteta is finally playing to Martin Odegaard's strengths, a play that we saw at the end of 2023-24, the perfect all-phase midfielder. Less focus on leading the Arsenal press, and more about getting him on the ball as much as possible. In this game, Odegaard was unplayable, given the license to go wherever he wanted. You think about the first Arsenal goal and the way he played Gyökeres through, the fact that it was on the left-hand side and not the right. Not only is Mikel Arteta adapting more and more to Odegaard, but I also feel the player is starting to wake up as well, realise his quality and see the disrespect that he was getting, with the arrival of a brand new number 10 in Eberechi Eze. The Arsenal captain seems to have awoken, with Arteta saying after the game, Odegaard was phenomenal. I think he influenced the game in a manner that is very important to us because he continued to play, carry the ball and put people through on goal, and generate big chances. It's very good to have him back at this level. A player that at his best is simply a joy to watch. When you then compare him to Eberechi Eze, of course started the game against Newcastle as a number 10, the question then falls towards Mikel Arteta. When you now have 2 high quality creators of different profiles, can you find a system that maximises both? Well, Arteta saying before the game, on what Eze brings different to Martin Odegaard, Mikel says I think he's got a different quality, that he does things in the book that are unexpected. When you think he's going to turn right, he goes left. When he thinks he's going to take another touch, he releases the ball. It's his vision. He's a player who creates magic moments, and at some points, he can steal the ball in a way that not many players can do. But in a game where there was also a lot of focus on Ethan Nwaneri, left on the Arsenal bench, then not used as a sub. Yes, Mikel Arteta could have started him as a right winger, but with the arrival of Eze alongside Martin Odegaard, even though Arteta clearly sees Nwaneri as a number 10, we have to realise that the competition is fierce. There will be games that he won't even be in the squad, the prime example of course being Newcastle, but still at 18 years of age, after all the minutes that he was given last season, certain players become more and more useful as the season progresses, and I certainly think Ethan Nwaneri is going to be one of those. Moving on to the fourth thing, and that is Victor Gyökeres evolves. Having arrived at Arsenal with a tremendous Champions League record, having scored 6 goals in his last 8 Champions League appearances, in this game he may have not scored, dropping a 6.6 sofa score rating, but with 1 shot on target, 2 off target and hitting the post once, we saw a different side to where Gyökeres thrives, constantly causing danger in that final third, asking the opposition questions that they get uncomfortable with. You look at the power that he showed to get the Odegaard through ball that led to the first Arsenal goal. This is a player that is getting better game by game, more and more suited to what Mikel Arteta wants, while also forming partnerships alongside his Arsenal players. Not only are we seeing more and more players try to thread Gyökeres through, but his hold-up play is a lot more cleaner. He is far more involved and far less isolated. And more importantly going forwards in this Champions League where you need difference makers, Gyökeres has quality that teams understand, naturally getting players to overload him, and that will open up space to the likes of Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard and Eberechi Eze, all players that were already very dangerous, but with even more space, they have the ability to really hurt you. As Mikel Arteta says, what I sense that he is doing, better and better things every game, and today he was denied a few times, but I think overall his performance was exceptional. Again, his work was really good, and yes, we want him to be scoring goals, but if he doesn't do that, at least to do everything that he's doing for the team, because he's helping the team a lot. I don't know if the floodgates are open when he scores, but hopefully yes, and hopefully it will be on Saturday. Moving on to the fifth thing, and that is Champions League ready. After back-to-back wins to open our Champions League campaign, Arsenal are currently the only Premier League side to still have a 100% win record in the Champions League this season. Currently 5th in the rankings with 6 points out of 6, behind the likes of Inter Milan, PSG, Real Madrid and Bayern. And it all starts to make you wonder, when you partner the fact that Arsenal have an elite defence, not conceding a single Champions League goal so far this season, but with all the attacking quality going forwards as well. Gyökeres has arrived, likewise Eberici Esse. The likes of Martinelli and Trossard are the perfect finishers. And then you had this image here. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Piero Nkapio and Noni Madueke all still unavailable, yet Arsenal was still able to bring on high quality players off the bench. As Thierry Henry says, I believe through a season you need your bench. This is why I think Arsenal this year have a big chance to win stuff, because the bench can change the game. And that bench will definitely get stronger, with the hand of Arsenal also confirming that Piero Nkapio is targeting an October return. If all goes to plan, the Ecuadorian is dealing with a groin injury, with the likes of Jesus, Madueke and Havertz also to return, as Mikel Arteta says on Arsenal squad depth. Last season we were looking and we had 5 academy players that were probably never played Champions League football, so it makes a difference. I want everybody to be really involved and feel a part of it. Now the focus turns to Arsenal's next 6 games, because on paper they do look winnable. West Ham at home, Fulham away, Atletico at home, Crystal Palace at home, Brighton at home and Burnley away. But they were also teams that Arsenal lost to last season, deploying the mid-blocks and stifling Arsenal time and time again. But we've now got Eberici Eze alongside Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka back fully fit and firing. These next 6 games are going to be a test to see if Arsenal finally overcome that hurdle. But when Mikel Arteta was asked at West Ham at the weekend, that will be your 300th game in charge of Arsenal, Mikel says, I didn't know that. That's a lot of games of football for this club. I feel very honoured and a lot of gratitude for everyone that has allowed me to stay for that long. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of his social medias, the links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Arsenal to Olympiacos 0, 2 wins out of 2 in the Champions League, and now the focus turns to West Ham on Saturday. It's time to get to revenge from last season. And Mikel Arteta, you got the squad, let's make things happen. I'll see you guys next time, take care, and a bit.